Dude, it takes so long. There we go. I'm not even doing the thumbnail till after the stream. It's just, I mean, if it was a regular stream, I'd probably change it, but since it's not, how's my audio? Do I sound? I'm worried about the room I'm in that it might be too echoey, so I'm trying not to be an echo. Oh, okay. Tell me when you're ready. We'll jump into this with some vigor. Best I can do for vigor, anyways. All right. Welcome everybody to week 8, episode 8 of Two Random Streamers. Like I say at the top of every show, just a little podcast me and Mikey do. Mikey's idea to kind of talk about whatever we want. Um, so this week is just we're gonna cover some specific topics, but kind of also just weekly roundup, kind of more of a just blah type of get it all out there stream or podcast. Excuse me. As always, I'm Blasphemy from Blasphemy Games, and my co-host here is Thunder Ronin, and I'll let him do his spiel. Yeah, the downloads that we keep getting. Ooh, did I lose Mikey? You froze for a second. The downloads we keep getting is what keeps us doing this. Even if one episode only gets one download, that's more than enough to keep us doing this podcast for you guys. And as always, if you guys have any thing you'd like us to talk about on a podcast, send it in. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, send it in. Get in touch with us on our social medias or sorry, my monitor's freaking out on me. There we go. Yeah, get in touch with us, and we would be more than glad to either talk about your topic or maybe get you on the show as a guest if you have any insight in something. Yeah. So, all that being said, I think we'll start off with this was an interesting week for streaming for me. I mean, I didn't stream but what 2 days total, and one of those days was only like 10 minutes, and then every day after that was just like kind of a fucking personal life fiasco for me. So I definitely didn't get. But the stream I'm most interested in was I did this whole we on Monday night we talked about this whole thing like we was gonna uh, like the conversation went from females having it easier to pulling Anate onto the stream and it got out of control pretty quick to where I said I could probably like shave my feet, part of my legs, like scrub my feet, like paint my nails, and like they look like female feet, and I could probably do a stream where and I kind of promote myself as a female streamer with feet to get a good demographic of people a certain demographic of people into the stream, or at least interested. So I did this. I can't wear shorts for a while. Let's just say that I didn't shave all my legs, but the part of my legs I shaved it's pretty silly looking, and I think I did a convincing job of making them look like female feet. Mikey was there. I only got about 10 minutes into the stream before real life hell broke loose. So then I had to bounce. But from what Mikey says, there was a pretty good turnout for the camera was literally just pointed at my feet. Like that's where it was. Like no face, no gameplay. It was just chatting screen, feet, and music in the background. That was it. And I don't know how it all went because again I had to depart quickly. But Mikey was there, so what was your take on that stream, buddy? Did you get banned, buddy? You was live earlier on Twitch. It could just be your ISP or something that's yeah. I think it was interesting because go ahead, buddy. Do you want to postpone this or do you want to what do you want to do? I yeah, I think it highlighted a lot of what we've been saying though cuz like the only way I promoted it was one very kind of inconspicuous Reddit thread on Foot Fetish Reddit. Okay. Very inconspicuous and it didn't say much, just basically a foot stream, basically, with my link. That was it. And just the thought, I think that it could be female feet or something along those lines really drew a certain crowd, which highlights what me and Mikey have said. Well, we've been saying it for a while that if you're a female streamer, regardless of your content or lack thereof, you will it's easier for you to garner viewers because like 10 viewers within 10 minutes or however long I was on is astronomically high for me or Mikey. Like to get that many viewers like that is like insanity. So it lends credence to what we've been saying. It goes back to Mikey's video about Paige from the WWE. Like she's sitting there on stream with her mic muted, and people are just throwing subs at her. Mic muted. She's not doing anything, not playing games, just mic muted, talking for the first half hour. Didn't matter. So that was Tuesday, and then I didn't get on. I don't think I was on Wednesday at all, or Thursday. So Friday night, I don't know how Mike's week was streaming, but I know uh, we played last night though. We didn't stream, or I didn't. I don't know if you did. You look tired. You tired, buddy? Yeah. Hard day. Shit day. Does that have anything to do with the changes that are coming? So he kind of ratted you out in a way because, well, but he's the boss's new favorite, right? So Friday, your last day. You're not even gonna give him the satisfaction. Huh? Just gonna bounce. That's true. They're just gonna tell you, "Hey, you're fired." Yeah, it sounds like. Go ahead. No, sounds like this was just a fucking week for both of us. Like, not a stellar week. Like, usually I can kind of roll with the punches of a week, and kind of like, okay, yeah, that sucked, but tomorrow is a new day. But I don't know. This week seemed like tomorrow's a new day, but it's a new day, but it's just another new bad day. Like, it's another new bad day, and so it just kind of continued with that down on that trend for me, anyways. And it's like, I mean, but you'll be going to if you do switch, you'll be doing night shift, huh? That's what. Yep. So that means you're gonna try to do a morning shift or something, or like a early afternoon shift or a stream thing, and except on Fridays, or have it recorded so we can get it from mine if we need to. So that being said, though, I think there's going to be at least a week or two adjustment period where you got to get used to your new schedule, and you need to like, because I mean, you're going from. I'm not saying pest control isn't like physically demanding, but from that to like a machine shop, it's definitely there's a physicality level that goes spikes up when you go to a machine shop, right? Like, I mean, I worked in a machine shop when I was like 18, 19, and it was the worst. I definitely would not recommend it to anybody for any reason. I mean, I guess different strokes for different folks. The hardest part for you is gonna be going back to third shift, right? Well, if you ever get feeling froggy, uh, I'll give you the website to the hospital that's out here by me. They start almost everybody starts off at around $18 an hour, and that's just for like basically watching. Well, let me phrase this correctly. Watching residents, their patients are like basically people that are never gonna get out in the public ever again, but they're too old or whatever to like whatever. So, but they call them residents, but they're patients and inmates basically. But yeah, that's just like, and that's an entry level position, and you start off at like 17 an hour for that one, and security guard is like $22 an hour or some bullshit. Like, yeah, pretty good paying jobs, and they're all state jobs, so you get insurance and benefits. And the only problem with those jobs around here was that they're is a chance that they can mandate you, right? So like, if you work an 8-hour shift and then Mary Sue doesn't show up to relieve you, you can be mandated for another 8. So, but then again, that comes with overtime, and overtime's time and a half. So you're making like $34 an hour on overtime. And I mean, anyways, my son works out there. He loves it. I mean, yes, they mandate him pretty frequently, but I mean, he brings home, $1,500, $2,000 paychecks every 2 weeks. So, and the cost of living out here is like stupid cheap. It's stupid cheap. Like some of the lowest in the freaking United States. So, I mean, the city or the town or city I live in, however, they kind of price gouge on like electricity. So, I mean, that's a constant fight I have with them because we'll get an electricity bill because our electricity comes from the city. Well, the city buys it from another company, and anyways, and we'll get like a $400-$500 electric bill from the city, and I'm always like, there's no way we use that much electricity. But the way they do it is they buy X amount of kilowatt hours. If I'm boring you with this, let me know. They buy X amount of kilowatt hours from this big corporation, and that's for the whole population of the town or whatever to use. Okay, so if let's say I use 100 kilowatt hours, that sounds like a lot, so probably don't use that, but let's just say I use 100, but Bob down the street uses 800. I don't know, because he's running a meth lab. I don't know what he's doing, but he uses 800 fucking kilowatt hours. And so we go over that allotment that they bought from the company. Well, now everybody gets the overage divided up across the bill. So if they buy 10,000 kilowatt hours and our town uses 22,000 kilowatt hours, okay, we all get fucking hit with that. And they don't tell us how much kilowatt hours we have. They don't tell us what parts of town are using the most kilowatt hours. And that's included with the hospital, mind you. The hospital, the grocery stores, like we share the kilowatt hours for across the board. So you get this like weird, almost socialist like electricity system where everybody pays their fair share, even if you didn't use that amount, you still pay it. And that's one of the main problems with this area is we got that shit going on. It's not just you pay for what you use, which is stupid. Oh, it's flawed. And then if you pay your city bill on time for a year, which isn't hard, but then you can go to them and you get like a fixed city bill where it's like they take your bill average for that last year and that's what you pay. But if you're paying $400 to $500 every bill, your average is going to be $400 to $500. So you're still gonna pay a flat fee of like $422, right? Like, and then it gets to a point where that's gonna bite you in the ass if some months you would have used like if your bill would have been, let's say, $300, you already signed this agreement to pay $422 because you're paying the average, and your average was really high because you only had really high bills, and so you don't really want to. Because some months I have a $500 bill, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? And some months I have like a $380. Well, I don't want to pay $500 if I can pay $380. I don't want to pay $380 either. Let's be fucking honest. Like, yeah. Oh, property is super cheap in the area. Like, the house we live in, it's let me count the bedrooms. It's like one, two, three, four, five bedroom, 2 full bathrooms, Of course, kitchen, living room, dining room, all that stuff. And it was like $60,000. 2-story house with 5 bedrooms, 2 baths. It was $60,000. So, I mean, pretty cheap, especially when you're thinking like that same house and like on a in a coastal state would be, a couple hundred grand. But oh, but that's your mortgage, right? But what's the total valuation of your land? Like, right? Yeah, legit. Okay, so we bought this house about 8 years back, and legit, when we bought it, we was shopping around for a house, and this is the one she wanted or whatever. So we bought it, and like 2 months later, like just down the street, and then around the corner is it's like an actual mansion. It's called Rose Manor, and it's got like 9 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. It's huge. It's a fucking massive house. Made all of brick, very colonial looking, very got the pillars and everything, bells and whistles. So we paid like 60 for this house. If we would have waited that 2 months, that one went on the market, good condition and everything. It's just it was only like 68,000. We would have had we could have had that house for 8,000 more. It's a little bit smaller yard, but overall it's just a bigger, better property for like just a little bit more. I mean, it probably would have been a bitch to heat and cool, heat in the winter, cool in the summer. I'm sure it'd be hell of a. And this house, we liked it because the people that owned it before us, that guy, the guy worked for the power company for years and years and years. So he super insulated the walls. So, this house is insulated top to bottom, left and right. So it holds uh, heat and cold very well, which is a double-edged sword because if you don't think you need the heat on, and then it drops to like 20 degrees with a north wind cutting through the north side of the house in the middle of the night, and you wake up, it's gonna take hours to heat the house back up because this is all old men talking. You go ahead. Well, hey, if you like Indiana or wherever you live, Kentucky, Indiana, whatever. You okay? Oh, you're. Oh well, kind of like how it is here. We're a small community, but like the neighbor will probably see you taking a whiz out in your backyard, but they're more likely to just make a joke at you rather than like actually say anything or call the cops. We're like that true Midwest easygoing type of folk out here. Yeah, I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other. I'm just saying like if push ever came to shove and you needed to know where get some good paying jobs were, they got decent paying jobs at low property, like cheap cost of living and stuff. A lot of people work at the state hospital, but they drive from a different county because of how we have our electric system set up. So they'll drive the 20 minutes from the neighboring town just to like not have to deal with that shit. So can't some Bernie Sanders fucking electricity going on here, I guess. Yeah, but this is like distribution of debt, apparently. Dude, here's the thing. Go ahead. Right, and that's before we moved to this system because they just moved to this system like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Before they moved to this system, we never had a bill above 150. Like it was so rare we'd have a bill above 150. Like then we'd be like you, we'd be like, what do we? Why is it 150? And now it's like our first high bill after this system took over, it was like 300, and we're like, why is it 300? What the fuck? And then it started 350, 400, 450, 500. One time we got a bill for $800 for 1 month. Yeah, so I'm constantly fighting with the city, constantly telling them. And then they admitted this past year that they didn't call it stealing, but let's just say it was stealing, that they were stealing from us, right? And that they were overcharging us for power. They called it something else. Anyways, we got audited is what happened. A state auditor came in and audited the city and found out that. So they're like, you fill out this form and we'll get you your money back or whatever. And I'm thinking, that's great. So fill out the form, wait. And then a few months after that, they had a town meeting. How are we going to return the money? Oh, you're going to love this one. So their idea of returning the money that, mind you, only the city council voted on, not the citizens, was, well, we're not going to give them their money back. We're going to give them credit, an amount of credit that we see fit on their bill. Now, they overcharged it. They was overcharging. The auditor found out they had been overcharging for about 18 months. So keep this in mind. Their credit that they thought we all were owed for 18 months of overcharging averaged out to about $32. One time payment of $32 credit to your account. So they not only did they steal from us, they got off scot-free with it, right? Because they didn't have to return any money. Like, there's no money out of their pocket, right? We're still paying the city bill. And so they didn't have to return any money. They didn't have to, and we got fucking dicked around. We got dicked on it so hard, like, pissed me off. And of course, what can you do? I mean, so yeah, we got $32 credit on our bill, which was super good. Oh, I'm sure they are. I like that you use the word scam because that's exactly what it is. Not even the manager, the city manager, and she's a seedy bitch too. Like I wouldn't trust her to throw a bucket of water on my ass if I was drowning. Like she is a seedy bitch, and she's a cunt. Oh my god, she doesn't give a shit about. So here's a fun story that since we're on the topic. So middle of winter, this was winter of 2018. Middle of winter, I come home one day, power's out in my house. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I called because we have a crew of people that fix the power here in town. We don't. It's not the power because we used to have Allen Power Plant here in town, and that provided all the power for the town. But then they like made cuts, so they cut like most of the people at the power plant. So now the power plant is more of like a power station. Anyways, it's a mess already. So we do this thing where we call them if the power's out and let them know, hey, we're on XYZ street, the power's out. They say, okay, we'll send somebody to fix it, right? That's just this protocol in place. So I call them and I say, hey, power's out over on West whatever. They say, okay, what's your exact address? Give them my exact address. They say, yeah, well, we disconnected your power. I said, okay, why? I paid my bill, like, the due date was like the 15th. I paid it on like the 12th. I got my bank statement right here showing I paid it. What's the... Oh, well, it says that on our end, it didn't hit our account until... Anyways, until the disconnect notice already went out, so they disconnected it. Anyways, it's a whole thing. Middle of winter, I'm like, okay, well, since it's paid, can you fucking come turn it back on? I need heat. I have fucking kids in my house. I need heat. And this was on a Friday. I want to make this very clear. Super illegal, by the way. And by the way, I say, you know, what about the Cold Weather Act? Like, you can't just do that, first off. Because, like, I mean, it's middle of winter. It's like 14 degrees outside with a wind chill of negative 10. It's fucking cold. And they're like, I'm talking to the city manager at this point. This bitch, like, straight up tells me, oh, we don't have to follow that. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, you kind of do. It's like a federal law. You can't just not do it. Like, I don't know how you're a city manager, but getting this big fight with them because they say, well, yes, you did pay your bill, but since it didn't, you know, blah, 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 and the disconnect notice went out because whatever. Anyways, she's like, I was like, well, come turn it back on then. And she's like, well, our crews have already went home and they don't come back out until Monday. And I'm like, I cannot be without power for a fucking weekend. Mind you, I'm telling her I have kids and shit. Like, if it was just me, I'd go stay with my dad. Like, if I'm not gonna take 6 kids to stay at my dad's house, that's very imposing. Anyways, fight with this bitch. She refused, like, she hangs up on me first off, which pisses me off. Like, I hate when motherfuckers hang up on me. Like, because I don't just hang up on motherfuckers, so I don't think motherfuckers should be hanging up on me. Like, I'll tell a motherfucker, I'm gonna hang up now, so this conversation's over. Anyways, long story short, that we had to stay in a hotel for the weekend because what else are you gonna do? They just refuse to turn it back on. Of course, call the cops, say what if they can get them to do it. They're like, oh yeah, but small community, so the cops are just gonna, they don't want to stir the pot with City Hall because that's who pays their paychecks. Turns out, yeah, she's a cunt. She's a stupid, dirty cunt, and but that's the point. It wasn't at the bank statement showed we paid on the 12th and it was due on the 15th. So, like, the money was like taken out of our account on the 12th. Like, I don't. We didn't have the money anymore, and so yeah, I wouldn't put it past her if she was like just pocketing like 20% right off the top. Like, wouldn't surprise me even a little bit. And icing on the cake. Sorry, icing on the cake. We had to pay a reconnect fee. It was awesome. Uh, it's a appointed job, I guess. It wasn't an election I know of. I knew her before she was city manager. I wouldn't have fucking voted for her. Fucking seedy. Oh, Okay, first off, the mayor, he's like younger than I am. He's like 22. I call him the childlike mayor. I don't know how he's a fucking mayor of a town. I have no fucking idea. He's way younger than I am. Looks like he should still be in high school. And our new governor, oh my god. This is going to get political for a minute. So, is the most liberal bitch I can think of. She is so democratic, very like I can't even begin to describe our governor to you. Like without getting real like okay, it's gonna sound bad. She's better than our last governor. Our last governor like defunded education in our state for years, like ran it into the ground. So she's better, but like also in different ways she's worse. Our old governor, we got in debt, so his solution was to sell sex toys uh, that were confiscated or something. Yeah, it was a really weird time for my state. You can look up an article about it, like Kansas selling sex toys to get out of state debt. It was a fucking bizarre, like, I don't even know. I don't even know what was going on. But now we got her, and she's just, God, I don't know. Kansas is typically Republican voted state, but somehow well, when you're running against a guy who pretty much all but collapsed the education system in the state and tried to sell sex toys to get out of debt, pretty much a fucking cold hot dog could win against him. I mean, doesn't take much. Doesn't take a lot. So it's not without its pitfalls. But I do like where I live. I mean, it's very quiet. It's a very good place to raise a family. It's a very good place to just live. My neighbors, they don't really bother me. I don't bother them. I mean, I have a lot more money if I didn't live here, though. Jiminy's for just a pump. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We bought my. That's why you sell it for more than you put paid for it. Yeah. Well, we bought my dad bought a pellet burner. No, wait. We no, my dad did buy a pellet burner because for years I mean, he had central heat, but it was just so expensive. So he had a wood burning stove. So he split his own wood and he put it in his basement so that heat would just kind of come up and heat the floors and then heat the house over time. But he's getting older, so he wanted something easier. So he got a pellet burner, and he got a. I mean, those things are really nice. They put out a lot of fucking heat. Like they put out a lot of heat and he really liked it. So last year, Bonnie's dad, who's about a year older than my dad, he was still chopping his own wood too. And we're like, he can't be going out there chopping wood in the winter, and so we got him a pellet burner, and he loves it. Like, couldn't you can't say he can't say enough nice things about it. And like a bag of pellets, a 40-pound bag is only like 250, right? It's cheap as nothing. So you can buy $50 worth of pellets and like be good for. I mean, it does go through pellets fast, so but like $50 will get you through like month and a half. And if that's all you're using for your heating, so your heating bill is $50, it's pretty good. Um, And if you keep it cranked up, that heat, I mean, it'll burn you out of your house. Like you'll be like going outside to cool off because it's so fucking hot. So go to the co-op or something, get some corn. Will it will your house smell like popcorn then? I don't. You'd be hungry all the time. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we need a whole new central. We need a whole new system put in our house. So the heater we got, the central heating unit we got now, is several years old, and it's known for this specifically. The heating part of it is infamous for the igniter. It burns them out. Okay, so like you can put a new igniter in there, and I have several times. And when you put that igniter in there, it'll work for about a month, and then it's gone. And these igniters are not easy to come by. They're not expensive, but you got to find a place that has them in stock, and it'll burn that igniter out like nothing flat. Like I replaced it 4 or 5 times, and it burns them out. So we need a whole new. We're looking at $11,000 for a new central heating air unit, but that would also be more cost efficient too in the long run. If we want to get an energy efficient one, which would be more efficient cost wise in the long run. But I just uh it's a it's electric, it's a hybrid. It's electric. The igniter is electric, but yes, it's gas. But they light. I don't know how it burns the igniter out. It just does, and it's not an easy piece to get to either. Like you gotta dismantle like half the thing to like get in there, and then you only got like like maybe that much space to work in, and it's a real pain in the ass to change. And of course, you're working with gas and stuff, so you want to make sure everything's retightened and God forbid you don't tighten something up the right way, and then now your whole house is fucking a big bomb. So it's I'm thinking about instead of replacing the igniter once every couple months this winter, just going to electric heaters in the house for the winter. I mean, I don't know. Every couple months fixing because if I gotta fix it, we're out of heat for that whole day because it's a project. It's a several hour project fixing it. And so it's not like I can just fix it in like 30 minutes. And I've seen some heating units where that igniter is right there as you take the front panel off, and that igniter is right there. That's not the case. I gotta take the blower out. I gotta take the uh, flame shoot things out. I gotta like it's a whole. So it's like it's a, some Japanese made it or something. Like I got an Avenger out there, Dodge Avenger 2012 or something. Great car, but to change the battery, you gotta jack it up, take off the driver's side tire, tear apart the wheel well, okay, to get to the battery that sits under there. You get the battery cable posts off. You got like literally, I'm not even playing, like that much room to like loosen these bolts on these battery cables. It's a whole fucking process. It's some fucking backwards engineering bullshit that I don't enjoy. Can't just be American made, can it? They have to offshore that shit or whatever. right? But we're old. Oh yeah, yep. But what's up? What are you thinking? Yeah, it's been it's it's just I think it's been a week in general. Like I said, man, I just my oldest son was like, hey, I possibly had COVID. They all freaked out. The work freaked out about the COVID. So he like then he spiked the fever while he was at work. So they like freaked out and sent him home. And like he hasn't been to work since like Tuesday because they thought he had COVID. He just got a doctor's appointment today. Oh boy! And the doctor's like, yeah, doctor, I don't know who he's seen, but I'm pretty sure I know who it is. And it's a female doctor, and she's super skittish of COVID. And she's like, because his work tested him and he didn't have it. He came back negative. But since he had a sore throat and he said something about not trouble breathing, he just said, and all he told me was his breathing was weird. I listened to his breathing, I didn't hear anything weird about it. But they told him, well, then you can't go to work for 72 more hours. You got to observe your symptoms for 20 or 72 hours. So he pretty much just missed a whole week of work. I'm just like, you didn't have a fever. Like, you had a sore throat. Well, guess what? It's fall. Like, that shit happens when the weather changes. Like, but no, it's got to be COVID. It's got to be. Like, what else could it be? It's got to be COVID. Or they gotta keep us scared about something, Mike. They gotta keep us scared. Or like when they admitted that they misreported the COVID deaths and only like 10% of the 189,000 reported deaths were like actually COVID related directly, and the other 90% all were had like other health issues that were the actual cause of death, and they just happened to have COVID when they died, and nobody reported it. Right? Nobody, right? And if we say he mismanaged you know what's funny about that? Jesus fucking Christ. So I was listening to a story on the radio on my way to work, whatever. And I kid you not, in the same story, it said, uh, Kamala Harris, uh, uh, says Trump didn't respond to the COVID fast enough. And then, meanwhile, her running or her president candidate Joe Biden said that Trump handled it too aggressively. And I was just thinking, those two things are opposite. Do they know those two things are opposite? Oh God. Have you seen those videos where he's groping kid? God, I hate those fucking videos so much. Like, and people like it's obvious, it's blatant, it's right there, and nobody says anything about it. He's like groping these kids. I'm just like, if that was my kid, I would have fucking hit him. I would have fucking he would have already been fucking laid out. I'm sorry. Right. doesn't know who his wife is. Like fucking yeah. I just had this. Go ahead. Yeah, I had this conversation with my 15-year-old son and my 18-year-old son today. I said, I don't know what brought it up, but I said, I'm not, I'm not disputing the fact that Trump isn't presidential. Like he's a businessman, but that's not that's not to say he's bad. It's just to say that no, he doesn't talk like a politician because he's not a politician. Like that's not who he is. He's right. So I was like, so yeah, I'm not debating the fact that sometimes he gets a little ahead of himself. Sometimes he says some stupid shit on Twitter, but that's like it. That's the fact that people pointed out is just a distraction from the fact of what he does do. Right. So like he was this week he was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Now the committee of people who nominate these people for Nobel Peace Prizes are it's not Americans. It's a committee of people from around the world that nominate these people. And so these people nominated Donald Trump for his work for making peace in the Middle East with the, declaring a capital of whatever. And anyways, it's the most peace that's been over there in fucking a couple decades or ever, for all I know. I don't know. And so they nominated him for this Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, of course, nobody can just be like, "Oh, great, he was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize because he wants people to get along and whatever." No, it has to be a whole thing, right? It has to be like a whole fucking attack him for this, that, and the other. And the same people that nominated Trump this past week were the ones that nominated Obama. Now, yes, they did go back and say that they had wished that they had never nominated Obama. Looking back, they said they would never do it again had they had the opportunity. Right, because he didn't really do much. But so the Democrats are all in a tizzy. What the hell? Hold on, I'm trying to figure out why my phone dinged off. I don't know if the TV. Sorry, I put a TV out at my curb today because I wasn't using it, and I put it on a buy sell trade, and I said first come first serve. I don't know, whatever. Put it out there, and now people are like, "Is it still there?" I don't know. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I don't know. Drive by and find out. I don't know. Anyways, point is, Trump got nominated. Democrats losing their fucking minds, losing it. So doesn't doesn't take any. Look at the orgasming deer on Twitch. I mean, it's about as far as you got to look. That that's the Democratic Party in a nutshell these days. Like I've said it before. I don't know if I've told you. I've said it before. I used to be very middle of the aisle. I mean, growing up all the way like through several administrations and stuff, I was very middle of the aisle. I said, yeah, it's okay. The right is wrong for this. The left is wrong for this. These are what they're wrong for. But I think we could meet somewhere in the middle and we could have a good conversation. And seriously, like even with Obama in office, like I wasn't his biggest fan, but I could still find myself somewhere in the middle of the aisle on most situations. I could. I just these last 4 years, these last 4 years have really pushed me straight over to the right because the left's way too fucking batshit crazy for me to even want to associate with, even as a middle platform. I don't even want to associate with them as a middle platform because they're so batshit crazy. And I'm sorry if any listeners listen, if you disagree, that's fine. I still love you guys. You can disagree with me all day long. I'm fine with you disagreeing. I'm fine with healthy debate. I'm so good with like open forum discussions about this type of stuff. But when you got people that are just like, you got they're supporting groups like Antifa and Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry, these are domestic terrorist groups, just like the KKK is. Like they're the same thing. You got Antifa people walking around hitting people, like just assaulting people, and and the craziness of this. Here's the craziness. Let me put this into perspective for you, everybody who doesn't know. Mike already knows. I know you do, Mike. I get it. You know. Let me put this in perspective for the ones that don't. For the left being so anti-gun and wanting gun control, you guys sure don't mind when the Antifa's out there mishandling weapons, sitting there with the weapon with their finger on the trigger, like sitting there with like a clip falls out of the gun because it's not put in properly. Like there's just the most idiotic idiots using fucking fire. You're all for it. You're all for it when it's Antifa or Black Lives Matter, and these guys are fucking morons and gonna get people fucking killed. But like when it's actual gun owners that are responsible, you're like, no, we need stricter regulations. You guys are so far gone from reality. Like, it's unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you, these Antifa people and stuff, I doubt those guns are either theirs or obtained legally. I'm sure they're like their dads or their fucking grandpas, somebody else's guns, because how else do you get a hold of a fucking semi-automatic rifle? I mean, you don't just walk into a store and buy one. So they're not like, it's just so far. Well, I was gonna say, according to them, you can just walk to any street corner and buy one. So depending on your state, my state has a 72-hour hold, so you got to pass everything and then wait 72 hours, and then you can go in and get it. I don't even mind the 72-hour wait. I mean, I won't say publicly like exactly what we have, but we have we have a small arsenal, and we've never like thought, hey, you know what would be really cool if we just like went and killed somebody, like. And we have plenty of resources to do it if we wanted to. We just don't, like, because. And we teach our kids gun safety. Like our kids, when we go to the firing range, never have we had one just resting, like with a handgun with his finger on the trigger. You don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to fucking shoot your target. Like, you just don't. That's how accidents happen. You fucking. Brandishing a firearm with a mask. Yep. Yep. Call the cops. Yep. Yep. No, but that's why they travel in groups, like packs. An Antifa but motherfucker. First off, they're gonna hide. They do the mask thing and everything to hide their face so they can't get in trouble. Secondly, they're not gonna walk up to somebody like you face to face and be like, "Hey, let's fucking go." They're not gonna start some shit with you. They're not gonna even start some shit with somebody like me. They're gonna wait till they got like 5 of their cronies nearby, and then they're all gonna just like come at you with chains and fucking pipes and bats, and because they're fucking coward ass pussies. And I'm sorry, they are. The domestic terrorists, And I believe, I'm telling you, KKK is domestic terrorists too. I don't think that they're not. But it's that double standard where, well, Trump didn't classify him as domestic terrorist, so he supports him. Yeah, neither did Obama. He didn't classify him as domestic terrorist. Neither did George W. Neither did Bill Clinton. Neither did George Sr. No other president has classified him as domestic terrorist. But you don't care about that. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, now I'm fired up. The country became divided under Obama. Keep Yeah, he created the racial divide, and I know people that are pro Obama, they don't want to hear it, or they think it's conspiracy bullshit, but he's the one like that played into it, that Jefferson City guy who the cop shot because he in the cop's car reaching for his gun. uh oh, I could see that guy as being my son, and this is it. No, he was a criminal doing criminal thing and he got shot. I am not saying, by the way, for the record, I'm not trying to get cancel cultured. I am not saying that cops are not corrupt. I believe there's a lot of corruption within law enforcement because there is no checks and balance for them. They don't have much oversight. So I do believe some people put that badge on and they think they're fucking invincible and they can do anything they want. I believe that wholeheartedly. Just like a politician does. He thinks he gets elected into an office and he is invincible. Okay? I'm not saying we don't need police reform, but we don't need defundation. That's stupid. Defund them so they can't do their job, and then who's gonna fucking protect you when somebody breaks into your house? Who are you gonna call? I call. I don't have to call anybody. I'll shoot the motherfucker. But who are you gonna call? Like, who the fuck are you gonna call? You think a baseball bat's gonna scare off some? No, he's gonna fucking gut you and your family and continue to rob you. Just so we're clear, there's no cops to come to get him. He has no fear of retribution or repercussions. Like, be the change you want to see. Tide Pod eaters. Also, not to say mental illness isn't a real thing. It is, but it's such a broad term nowadays that everything falls under any bad behavior is automatically mental illness now. Huh, God. We we definitely look what Mike is saying. He's not trying to say we're better than you. He's just saying you guys grew up in the we're still in the golden age of technology, and you guys, anybody that's 20, early 20s and younger, you guys, you don't understand. Even maybe even mid 20s for the most part, but we learned natural consequences because we were outside. We were doing stupid shit, getting hurt. We'd my parents. I'm not too ashamed to say it. My dad whooped my fucking ass if I fucking backtalked my elders. He'd whoop my ass. No, I did not backtalk my elders. That just wasn't a thing. I did maybe once or twice in my life. I got my ass beat for it, and that was a natural consequence to my fucking actions. So I learned to grow up with respect and all this. You guys, you don't have that. Like like Mike said, you grew up on the internet basically. Your parents let the internet raise you. They let the schools raise you when you were at school. The internet and TV raised you when you were home. You never went outside, so you was online, always shit talking because there was no consequences for you shit talking people on the internet because they were also on the internet. There was no consequences. And now you get into the real world and you think that if somebody fucking hurts your feelings, they should be fucking reprimanded. Why should they be reprimanded? You never were. You were never reprimanded. So why the fuck should they fucking be reprimanded? Just think about it. You guys had it easy. Like I loved my childhood. 83 and gave you the lesson of the day. Ah, Jesus fucking Christ. Don't get me started on those shows. God, they're so bad. Right? Like our first mobile phones were big like bricks that were like inside a vehicle. They were called car phones or something, and they were in a bag. You unzip the bag, you take the phone, and the reception was horrible. And right, right, or hey, I'll call or limited amount of text messages. Like you got 100 text messages a month. That's all you got. You go over that, it's like 25 cents a message after that. Right. Right, you got beep beep beep. Okay, beep beep beep. Okay, beep beep beep. Okay, I got one word typed. Right, you guys have no idea how easy you have it. Like, I know you hear stories and you think you know, but there's no way you know. There's no way you can even comprehend how easy you have it. Like, no Ubers, no DoorDash, no like not even call waiting in most cases. You call a number, if they're on the phone, it's busy. Too bad. Call back again. Yep. No answering machines. You can't leave a message. Right. You gotta do 0. It's like all the way around and 8. Yep. No, FaceTime was you ride your bike to your friend's house and you knock on his door. And hey, if he's not home, you ride to your other friend's house to see if he's over there. That's yep. You go. And by the way, okay, I say this: I am full support of LGBTQ. Okay, so don't even try to paint me with that fucking brush before you fucking do. When I say this, I have a gay son. I love him dearly, but do not, in any uncertain terms, tell me how brave it is for someone these days to come out as gay. It's not brave anymore. Yeah, back in the early 90s, late 80s, yeah, people got beat to death. It was actually kind of brave to come out as gay back then. People got tied to trees and beat to death. So, yeah, it was a little bit more brave. Nowadays, it's not brave. Nobody cares anymore. Put your penis, right? Put your penis in whatever you want to put your penis in. Lick whatever vagina you want to lick. I don't give a fuck. Okay? But don't tell me it's brave. That's not bravery. Like, you're not a special. Right. Don't let. And that's exactly how coming out gay back then was. Like you were going against the societal norm, and that's why people got treated poorly for it. And nowadays, the only way you can be against societal norms is just saying, basically, no, I'm not gonna live the way you want me to live. And that's how they want you to do it. They want you to they want you to fucking, well, you're going to use this person's preferred pronoun even if you don't know it, because otherwise, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. If I know for a fact you are a trans male to female and you look like a female and you present as a female, I'll probably call you ma'am. I have no problem with it. However, if you are a trans male to female and you still look like a man, you still present as a man, and everything you look like a man, and I don't know you, and I called you sir, and that pisses you off, I guess get the fuck over it, Cupcake, because if I have no problem calling you by your preferred pronoun if A, I know ahead of time, because we have some trans people here in town, okay? One of them is a very nice gentleman. He's a trans female to male. Very nice gentleman. He's always very pleasant to me when I walk in to where he works, and him and I always talk and converse. I've never once, even though I know he was born a she, I've never called him ma'am, miss, hun, nothing like that. It's always been very, hey, what's up, man? What's going on, buddy? You know, very, because guess what? And doesn't mean. There's no confusion there. My brain doesn't have to go through a fucking Olympics of fucking thought process to fucking find out what it is. It just is. So, yeah, don't expect me to. That would be brave in today's society. Is actually standing up and saying something like, "I'm not gonna fucking try and play 20 questions to figure out your pronouns. I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm not gonna do that because it's crazy." There's no such thing as microaggressions. You know what we called microaggressions growing up? We called them well, mainly they were just, yeah, this is gonna be sexist, mainly for women, but it was just called being passive aggressive. It wasn't a microaggression. They just did something that was slightly, yeah. Microaggressions. What is it? You if your eyes move the wrong way, it can be considered a microaggression. Like, right? Dude, life gets way fucking harder. That like I remember this was like when Mike and I first started like playing together, and actually about 8 weeks ago when we first started this podcast, and I made the comment about something, I forget what I said, like, "Oh, I'm sure you and I our views align pretty well," and he's like, "Oh, I don't know about that," and he like acted like he would somehow offend me with his views. I'm just telling you right now, him and I are from the we're 80s. I was born in the early 80s. Okay, it takes a lot to really fucking ruffle my feathers. I mean, with some exceptions. You leave my fucking family alone, you're probably pretty safe, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go fucking with them, now I'm probably gonna have to fucking deal with it. But there's not a lot that really ruffles and gets me frustrated. Okay, so I just wanted to add that because Mike thought we wouldn't be. He said there. Oh, I'm sure I got some views that you'd find pretty. I'm not PC either. like I said, if I see you and and you present as a man, I'll call you sir, but I'm not gonna like bend over backwards to call you fucking sir if you got tits on your chest and long hair and you're all clean shaven. I'm not gonna call you. No, I don't. Like the whole thing. Well, you should just ask them to. I'm not gonna ask every motherfucker I meet on the street what his or her preferred pronoun is. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not. I'm not doing that. It's like get offended, I guess.